Well, it's Groundhog Day. Again. And that must mean that I am Professor Robert E.G. Black, and this is the Groundhog Day Project.
It's one of those infinite time loop situations you might have heard about.
The thing where the same day keeps happening?
Time.
I wake up every day right here, right in Punxsutawney, and it's always February 2nd.
The last revision is what counts, apparently.
We're in minute 47 of Groundhog Day. We're into what I call the date night sequence. Phil is about to, go to a bar where he knows Rita's sitting. So we're jumping ahead to the evening, but first we have Phil outside by the van. He has just pulled something out of the engine, and a man and woman are walking by, and the woman recognizes him and says, "It's Phil Connors." And he says, "Hello, thanks for watching." He's holding the thing he just ripped out of the engine in his hand and doesn't even try to hide it, which is great, because if they call him on or ask him about it, he's going to make up an answer. He's going to just not be holding it tomorrow when they come by. It's so easy to adjust to a time loop. You don't have to get it perfect. You don't have to keep track of every little detail. If you get something wrong today, you fix it tomorrow, which we're going to get in this next sequence. I would point out before we even get in the bar that the trailer puts a buzzer on the changes from night to night to night in this bar sequence.
To the groundhog.
I always drink to world peace. Well, what should we drink to?
I like to say a prayer and drink to world peace.
And that buzzer basically feels like a straight ripoff from the play Sure Thing. It's a short play about a man who comes into a coffee shop and tries to pick up a woman who's reading a book. And every time he says something that doesn't work, it buzzes and he gets to say something else as if the loop is reset.
You didn't stop to talk because you're some Mooney or have some political affiliation.
Nah, I'm straight down the ticket Republican. Straight down the ticket Democrat. Let me tell you something about politics. I like to think of myself as a citizen of the universe. I'm unaffiliated.
What a relief. So am I.
I like to vote my beliefs.
Labels are not important.
Labels are not important. Exactly. Take me, for instance. So what if I got a 2.0, 3.0, 4.0 in college? Or if I was from Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Westchester County?
Sure.
Similar to what we're about to get with Rita. Was Danny Rubin familiar with Sure Thing? Or is this sequence really obvious for what a time loop is? I think it's more the latter than the former, but maybe he was. Maybe he had seen the short film 1201. Maybe he had read the play Sure Thing, or read the stories 1201, or 1202, or 1203. Maybe he had seen there aren't a lot of time loop things before Groundhog Day, but there were a few. Maybe you saw the Star Trek The Next Generation episode, Cause and Effect. Maybe he'd seen the Twilight Zone episode, both versions of it, what's it called, Shadow Play, which there was a version in the 60s Twilight Zone and a version in the 80s Twilight Zone. Phil comes into the bar, walks around, sits next to Rita. She is reading a book. I tried for the longest time to figure out what this book was. You see just enough of the cover where I thought it might say Chekhov, but I think it's too thin to be any Chekhov book. It even resembles an actual book cover I found of a Chekhov book, but with the color scheme wrong. At one point I thought it might be an issue of Asimov magazine. Thickness might work for that, but it feels a little too big. Not necessarily too thick, but too big to be that. But it could be. I don't know. She has it curled up in a way that you can't really see it. That might even be on purpose, because they don't want us to know what she's reading, because it doesn't matter. I looked up everything. I found the names of the books that were on the psychiatrist's table. I found the books that Phil has on the counter at the diner later when he's reading and hears the music on the radio. I looked up everything I could see when I was doing my blog. But I never did figure out what book this is. But she's reading, and he comes in, sits next to her and says, "So what are the chances of getting out today?" Van still won't start. Larry's working on it. We just saw him pull something out of the van. That was daytime. Probably still pretty early because people were just walking around the square and there was a police car blocking off part of the road, which means it's probably pretty early right after the festivities. And so this is now in the evening, presumably, because Rita's at the bar. I don't think she's going to the bar for lunch. Maybe she would because it's the hotel bar and it's just convenient. Time has passed. We just saw him damaging the van. And now we're hearing that Larry's already working on it, already knows it doesn't start. So some time has passed. In the day. This could still be the exact same day we just saw him pull the thing out, but it is later. So we're still on version 7 of Groundhog Day. Wouldn't you know it? Can I buy you a drink? Just like before, she was a little reluctant to get that coffee and a donut. Here's like, okay. Like, she'll take a free drink, whatever. And he orders his by pointing, like there's an imaginary glass, Jim Beam, ice, water, like he's given amounts. Being very specific for the bartender. Which implies to me that Phil goes to bars a lot. Maybe it's just since he's been in town. Maybe it's just these last 7 days. But I don't think so. I think he does this in Pittsburgh too. I think after work he goes to a bar. And he probably goes to that bar alone. He doesn't have friends at the station. Maybe Kenny goes with him every once in a while just because Kenny's probably tagging along. But I think Phil goes by himself and he tries to pick up women. And then if a woman goes with him, he takes her back to his place and hopes she's gone by morning. Because you know he's not committing. But anyway, he orders it like a guy who is in a bar a lot. And the bartender then looks at Rita, says, "For you, miss." And she says, "Sweet vermouth on the rocks with a twist, please." Cut to... Well, no, before we cut, Phil takes that in. We see him kind of looking up, committing it to memory. Boom. Cut to day 8, interior, bar. What are the chances of getting out of town today? The van still won't start. Larry's working on it. It's giving us the beginning of the conversation to make sure we're up to speed. This is a scene that is about to repeat pieces. But we're getting that beginning part because we need the beginning part. We need context. Oh, wouldn't you know it? Can I buy you a drink? Okay. And he orders, "Sweet vermouth, rocks with a twist, please." "For you, miss?" The same. And she's so excited. You hear that tone in her voice? Why do you get excited that someone orders your drink? Because that drink sucks? Is it that? No offense to, was it Harold Ramis' wife at the time? I believe it was her favorite drink, and that's why it ended up in the script. Sweet vermouth on the rocks with a twist. I made sure to drink that while I was doing my blog, and it's not very good. It's super sweet. Sweet vermouth should be mixed in. It should be in mixed drinks. It shouldn't be drunk on its own. And the twist does nothing. I assume it's a twist of lemon on sweet vermouth. Could be a twist of orange, I guess. If it was like candied orange, that could be more fun, but it also just makes a thing that's already too sweet even sweeter, and that's not good. But she's so excited that this guy just ordered the same drink she orders all the time. I don't know. My go-to drink if I'm at a bar is a White Russian. I've said this before. Or a Black Russian if I need some caffeine or they're out of cream. If they're out of Bailey's, then oof. Then I'm just ordering like a Scotch and Coke or rum and Coke, depending on whether I'm in the mood for sweet or not. But if someone orders that drink, like I'm at a bar with someone else and they order a White Russian, I'm like, oh yeah, that's my drink. That's it. I'm not excited by it. I'm maybe I notice. And I'd be like, why is that your drink? Why is that my drink? I don't think I'd ever heard of a White Russian. No, I probably had heard of it, but I didn't know what it was until Big Lebowski. But I don't know the first time I ordered a White Russian. I don't know when I decided I liked White Russians. But I like them. And that's an easy thing to drink. It's good to know to have a default. You don't have to look through the menu. If they're busy, you just order the drink you always drink. Rita's ordering sweet vermouth on the rocks with a twist. I don't know, maybe she thinks it's fancy. She thinks it's girly. If she thinks it's girly, what does she think of Phil right now? If she thinks it's fancy, what does she think of Phil right now? What does she think of Phil because he orders the same drink as her? Or does it matter? Is this just more of that peeling back of layers in the relationship? He orders the same drink, that means we have something in common. Even if it's for a completely different reason. Any way we can relate is good. Any way we can relate to anyone is good. Because it's the only way civilization survives. Is that we care about others, take an interest in them, notice when they have things in common with us, and connect over those things in common. Did Phil walk in with the same book as her? No, that might be too much. But ordering the drink and ordering it first, that works. Give him the point on this one. And we'll see more of this date night next minute. But for now, they've both got their sweet vermouth on the rocks with a twist coming. And this dude makes the drink fast. I know it's just vermouth, ice, and a twist. And the twist is probably, those are already pre-cut and ready to go. But 2 of those in record time as we get into the next minute. But we'll talk about that next time. Until then, go out. Drink your favorite drink. Drink with someone you like. Spend time with your favorite people. Do something interesting. Do something unique. Do something strange. do something fun, or just do the thing that you really like to do, even if you do it often. You know what I'm going to do later when I get home? I'm going to turn on a movie or two. I'm probably going to watch some episodes of some TV shows that I'm watching currently. Same thing I did last night. Same thing I'll do tomorrow night. Slight variations, because I enjoy them. The variations make it so I can continue enjoying them for a long time. That's all I got for minute 47. See you next time.
Knew you were gonna say that.
This has been a production of Lemming Drops Studio. You can find links to more at lemmingdrops.com or join the Facebook group Lemming Drops Studio Tour. Also, you can support all my shows at patreon.com/lemmingdrops.
What is wrong in the end which never comes? Or which comes again and again, laughing, like waves.
Since the Big Bang set everything in motion, everything that happens in this universe has to be the way it is. Particles unfolding the way they're destined to.
How do you sleep at night? You've never seen Groundhog Day?
Yeah, you know Groundhog Day is not a documentary.
Remember when Groundhog Day was just a movie?